Buddhism is often misunderstood as a religion in the conventional sense, but it is more accurately described as a practical philosophy of life, a moral and ethical path to self-improvement. It is not a system of faith or dogma. Rather, it is grounded in human experience and reasoning. The Buddha's teachings emphasize self-reliance, encouraging individuals to seek liberation from suffering by following a disciplined path of mental, moral, and spiritual development. The story of Buddhism begins with the life of Prince Siddhartha Gautama. Born around 623 BCE in Lumbini in modern-day Nepal, Siddhartha was raised in luxury, shielded from the harsh realities of life. However, at the age of 29, he encountered what are known as the four signs: an old man, a sick person, a dead body, and a wandering ascetic. These encounters profoundly impacted him, awakening a deep realization about the universal nature of suffering. Determined to find a solution, Siddhartha renounced his royal life and embarked on a spiritual quest. He sought wisdom from various teachers and practiced extreme asceticism, but ultimately realized that neither luxury nor severe austerity could lead to enlightenment. Instead, he discovered the middle way, a path that avoids the extremes of self-indulgence and self-mortification. Under the Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya, Siddhartha meditated deeply and through his efforts achieved enlightenment. He became the Buddha, the awakened one, having realized the true nature of existence and the path to liberation from suffering. Central to the Buddha's teachings are the Four Noble Truths, which diagnose the human condition and offer a remedy: the truth of suffering, dukkha. Life is inherently unsatisfactory. Suffering exists in many forms: birth, aging, sickness, death, and the inability to attain what one desires. Even pleasure is transient and often leads to dissatisfaction. The truth of the cause of suffering, samudaya. Suffering arises from desire, attachment, and craving, tanha. Our constant longing for pleasurable experiences, material possessions, and even immortality binds us to a cycle of discontentment. The truth of the end of suffering, nirodha. It is possible to end suffering by extinguishing the causes of attachment and desire. This state of liberation is called nirvana, a state free from all forms of suffering, ignorance, and the cycle of rebirth, samsara. The truth of the path to the end of suffering, magga. The way to achieve the cessation of suffering is by following the Noble Eightfold Path, a set of ethical and mental disciplines. The Noble Eightfold Path is the practical guideline for ethical and mental cultivation, divided into three core aspects: wisdom, ethical conduct, and mental discipline. Each aspect is essential in overcoming suffering and achieving nirvana, right understanding. Gaining a proper understanding of the Four Noble Truths and the nature of reality. Right intention. Committing to a life of ethical conduct and mental discipline. One should develop thoughts of renunciation, goodwill, and harmlessness. Right speech. Avoiding lies, harmful language, and idle gossip. Truthful and kind speech fosters harmony and understanding. Right action. Acting ethically by avoiding harm to others. This includes refraining from stealing, killing, and engaging in harmful sexual conduct. Right livelihood. Earning a living through moral means. Avoiding professions that harm others, such as those involving violence or deceit. Right effort. Cultivating positive states of mind such as compassion, kindness, and mindfulness, while eliminating negative ones like greed and hatred. Right mindfulness. Developing awareness of body, feelings, thoughts, and the true nature of phenomena. Mindfulness helps in understanding impermanence and the interdependent nature of reality. Right concentration. Achieving deep mental focus through meditation, leading to insight and the ability to perceive reality as it truly is. The Buddha's discovery of the middle way is a cornerstone of his teachings. It represents the avoidance of two extremes: the pursuit of sensual pleasure and the infliction of unnecessary suffering through asceticism. This balanced approach allows for the development of both the body and the mind in harmony, facilitating the attainment of wisdom and insight. The middle way is also reflected in the Buddha's practical advice for leading a life of moderation, self-discipline, and mindfulness. Karma refers to intentional actions, whether of body, speech, or mind, which generate consequences. Good actions lead to beneficial outcomes, while negative actions lead to suffering. According to Buddhist teachings, individuals are responsible for their own karma, and no external force can absolve or redeem them from the effects of their actions. This law of karma is intimately tied to the concept of samsara, the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. Until one attains enlightenment and escapes this cycle, they are bound to repeat the process of rebirth, shaped by their karma. Buddhism teaches that liberation from this cycle can be attained by following the Noble Eightfold Path, thereby purifying the mind and breaking free from the clutches of desire and ignorance. Nirvana represents the cessation of suffering and the end of the cycle of rebirth. It is not simply a state of non-existence, but a state of perfect peace and freedom from all forms of attachment and delusion. Attaining nirvana is the ultimate goal for Buddhists, as it signifies the end of suffering and the realization of absolute truth. The Buddha emphasized that nirvana is accessible to all who diligently follow the path through their own efforts. Metta and karuna, loving-kindness and compassion. Central to Buddhist practice is the cultivation of metta, or loving-kindness, and karuna, or compassion. Metta is the unconditional love that wishes all beings to be happy and free from suffering. It transcends personal interests and extends to all living beings regardless of their relationship to the practitioner. Karuna, or compassion, involves actively wishing to alleviate the suffering of others. It is closely related to metta but focuses specifically on helping others in times of distress. Both metta and karuna are integral to the practice of the Noble Eightfold Path, and are essential virtues for those aspiring to live an ethical life and progress toward enlightenment. Meditation, cultivating mindfulness and concentration. Meditation is a vital practice in Buddhism, essential for developing insight and wisdom. Through meditation, practitioners cultivate samadhi, or concentration, and vipassana, or insight. Concentration allows for a focused mind, free from distractions, while insight meditation helps one see the true nature of existence, impermanence, suffering, and non-self. The Buddha taught that through regular meditation, individuals could gain control over their thoughts, develop mental clarity, and eventually perceive reality as it is, not as it appears. Meditation is the key to understanding the deeper truths of existence, and is a direct path to enlightenment. Buddhism in daily life. Buddhism is not just a practice for monks or ascetics, but offers valuable guidance for everyone, regardless of their station in life. It teaches that by adhering to the principles of the Noble Eightfold Path, practicing generosity, and cultivating ethical behavior, one can lead a fulfilling and meaningful life. The Buddha's teachings also emphasize self-discipline in daily life, whether through mindful speech, ethical work, or cultivating kindness and compassion toward others. Buddhism encourages individuals to take responsibility for their actions, shaping their own destinies through conscious effort and ethical living. Conclusion: the relevance of Buddhism today. The teachings of the Buddha, though ancient, remain profoundly relevant in today's world. With its focus on mindfulness, compassion, and ethical living, Buddhism offers a clear path to peace and happiness in a world often plagued by materialism, stress, and suffering. Its timeless message encourages each individual to seek enlightenment through personal effort, reflection, and adherence to the moral and mental disciplines outlined by the Buddha.